All right.
It'll work. There we go. Welcome back to the Captain's Table. This is our question and answer session where we talked with Buster the Destroyer, Humech, and Astral Gemini about customization and the future of customization, and what does CG do good, what do they fall down on, and what could they do in the near future. If you want to hear more about that and the stuff, it's if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be right above Buster, right there. Go click that link and then come back and watch this. If you're listening to this on the podcast format, it was just the previous episode. You can go listen to that before listening to this. And if you're watching this on Twitch, you can live playback and go backwards. So some of these questions may come up, which we'll reference that video, which is the reason why I always say this, because if you're like, well, wait, what do you mean you already answered that? It's like, just go watch the previous video and then watch this. They're designed to be watched continuously, but a lot of people don't want to watch 3.5 hours of podcasts. So
there are some people do, like shout out to Masocast.
Yes.
I know he's listening to this on the road. On the road again. Just can't wait to listen to Paul again.
That's why he's called Masocast. All right. All right. So the first question that's going to be that's asked is Max, who asks, "Do you like beers with French fries?"
Yes.
Wait, what? Like,
you like beer? Drinking beer with French fries, eating French fries.
Well, but I mean, are they talking about like putting the French fries in the beer?
No, I think it means like eating French fries while drinking beer.
Why not? But pizza's best with a really hoppy beer.
Yeah.
And I don't like hoppy beer, but I like it with pizza specifically.
I'd say a good
like hoppy beer.
Steak is a little bit better, or barbecue is usually better with beer, just because the clashes of the sweet or this and the more savory.
I like a session-y kind of beer for like a day, like out, because barbecue to me is like sunlight, and Texas, so there you go. But it's there's a difference between barbecue, cookout, and smokeout, okay?
Yes.
Know the difference, everybody. And safety meetings, but we won't talk about that. That's exclusive to the entertainment industry.
All right. Max then asks, what is the favorite dessert, or which dessert would you like best in the world? Let's start with you, Astral. What's your favorite dessert?
Oh, that is a hard one. I like a lot of desserts.
Which one hits the most? Which is the one that like you wake up one day and you're like, I gotta have that today.
Okay,
and it's consistent. Like it happens at least once or twice a year.
So I went to I was in Hawaii in November, and I ate at this restaurant that was just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, this little tiny town. But I got a dessert that was a passion fruit cheesecake made with fresh passion fruit.
What?
And it was so good.
Life-changing.
One of the best things I've ever had. Oh, it was so good. And it was one of the it was like a baked cheesecake too, so it was all like fluffy and puffed up with like a passion fruit syrup over the top. Oh, it was so good.
I'm out. You're gonna tell me about that. Like
I am deceased. I cannot.
Humech. Come on, Humech.
Your favorite dessert?
Okay.
Come on, girl.
It's odd. It's not classy, but it's from Costco specifically. They make this dark chocolate cake that's incredibly rich and thick and heavy, and the frosting is dark chocolate, and I don't know, it's probably like 8 pounds or something like that. That would be my favorite dessert.
Nice.
It's super good.
That's a good one.
Buster.
Yeah.
Okay, there's different purposes of favorites, just so you know. Okay. We know this, right? So one of the things that in life you always want to find like the perfect one of is a key lime pie.
Oh,
right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Key lime pie, like it's not my favorite, right? But it's like one of those things. If I go somewhere and I hear they have a great key lime pie, I have to have it because I love lime. But personally,
there's nothing worse than a disappointing key lime pie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
That's like a whole thing, and I think Dexter. I think there was like a character in Dexter that was always like trying to find the perfect key lime pie.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And then but like to go back to like some love and some childhood and some nostalgia. When I was 16 years old, for my birthday, my 16th birthday, I wanted a tiramisu, and my mom, you know, for those who don't know what a tiramisu is, you put it in like you soak lady fingers, which is a type of patisserie,
Mhm.
and pardon me, pastry, and you
Pastry.
soak it usually in
Easter.
coffee liqueur, and yeah, like I'm not trying to, don't. My mom may have overdone it on what she didn't think about, and it wasn't like I got like buzzed, but it was just like. It was so good, and so that is, and then as far as something I make personally, I would say, and it's not really a dessert item. I mean, it kind of is, but my cinnamon rolls. My cinnamon rolls could could solve like my cinnamon rolls could bring peace to the world. And I'm not gonna undersell myself here, people. I make
Respect.
my dough is supple. It's been
Mm-hmm.
developed and developed over all these years. I've broken the code of the most supple cinnamon roll dough that I can make, and I make the best cinnamon rolls. I make the best ones. So that's my favorite thing, that my dessert that I make.
Okay.
So there you go. So
I
I give you 3 categories.
I will say that there's for me it's the tried and true dessert, and then there's the like special dessert. And
Okay.
for me,
Yeah.
the tried and true dessert is just pretty much basic anywhere. I don't really care who it's by. I guess Breyers, Dryers, or Bluebell are the ones that I have. Like, I guess I like the most just because the ones I can access to. But cookies and cream, ice cream, just the basic. I can just get it anywhere I want to. I'm gonna get it. But the one thing that I really enjoy is pecan pie.
Oh shit!
Yes!
Oh shit! We
Yes!
forgot. Okay,
Oh, I
pie,
completely forgot
pie,
about pecan pie.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, and that's, if you didn't know, the pecan tree is the state tree of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and pecans. Oh, pecan pie, bro. Oh my
When
god.
I
pecan
found out I loved pecan pie when I was like 14, my mom practically did hand sprints because she's from Texas. Like, she was raised in Texas. A lot of my family's from Texas. She's just like, I have a Texan son.
Paul, next time I see you, dudes, for real, because like next time there's a CitizenCon in Austin, my goal is to have like some kind of like, even if it's like kind of a small party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, I can't cook for like thousands of people, so
Yeah.
like it'd be some really close friends. I would love to have like host a party where I just cook for everybody, and dude, I'll make you pecan. Even if next time I see you, I'll literally just bring you pecan pie, and my recipe doesn't use corn syrup, so mine's different. So
Ooh.
yeah, I think
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't like the jelliness of the corn syrup sometimes. Anyway,
I'll say it.
Star
My
Citizen.
my
there
mom
needs to be
makes a really good
pecans.
pecan pie, but she uses corn syrup. I don't think she's
No,
ever done one
those are
without it.
great. Those are great. I do one that's based in brown sugar. So
I will
A
say
little more
this.
Very sweet,
toasty
though.
flavor.
To turn this back to Star Citizen, all of these things need to be in game, CIG. Talking about
Yeah.
customization.
Oh yeah.
Where's
Give us more food.
Yeah.
more
Yes.
foods?
Yeah, we all know I'm a fan of food in Star Citizen. There's literally a
Yes.
bar named after me, and I don't care if it's not actually named after me. It as far
It's
as
named after
all of
you.
our, it's named after me.
I am the Lord of Lore. I declare that it is named after you. All right.
Oh, thank you. Buster's Bars. You can find them on Orison. Just any bar dealer you find in Orison. There you go.
And pizza. Yeah, the pizza's the one of those things that like I'm.
They
waiting
need to
for
have a
them
Segalian's pizza store in
Yeah.
Star Citizen. They really do.
Or Disco Lando's Pizza. Disco Lando's Pizza.
No.
Pizzeria.
You
Chef
know what?
Lando's.
Disco doesn't make pizza like Segalian does. I'm sorry. I love Jared. We all know this. We know I love Jared. But no, Disco Lando doesn't deserve his pizza store. Segalian gets that freaking
Okay.
prize. Okay? Segalian. I'm on Team Segalian in that debate.
All right. So, next question comes from Outlaw Knight Zero, who asks, will customization conflict with the funding model of skins and customizations, i.e., the clock and coffee maker in the 300 series? It will actually complement it.
Yeah.
Let me explain why. Even if you could paint any color on any ship you had, you can use the skins as patterns. So that way, you primary, secondary, and tertiary, those patterns could be different depending on which skin you use, and then you can just change the colors up for those. Or as you even pointed out, Outlaw Knight, the whole like coffee maker in the 300 series. Wait until we can buy like fuzzy dice for our ships. You're gonna buy it, and you could buy it in game, but you can get the LTI triple special gold fuzzy dice from the web store. You know, those are sort of things that
need the wooden
people pay
bead
for.
seat covers, please.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's tons of old subscriber flair that's like hanger flair, right? Like it's things you like a fish tank, stuff like that. I mean, we talked. Humech touched on this before, like on the other for those of you on YouTube on the other video. Humech touched on interior design a little bit, and I would love for there to be more. Like if I bought, you know, I don't know, like some ship, like an 890 jump, I would love for there to be different options for that sculpture in the middle. That's a good example, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And
how
be-
cool would it
colors
be for
around
there to
that.
be
That'd be
like
great.
how cool would it be for there to be like at least like if only 5 choices, right? But not that I don't love that sculpture, or even just the option to not have something there. Because in the 890 commercial, right, there's an opera singer at the top of those steps singing to an audience where normally where that sculpture would be.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that be to have a bit more customization with your space? So, like, say you were hosting a party and you wanted to have a performer at the top of the steps, you could take it out, or you could have something like a table with snacks. Rich people love everybody loves snacks. Okay, rich or poor, whatever ship you're on, you love snacks.
Yeah, actually talking about this
Gerbs.
exact thing reminded me of the piano for the Constellation Phoenix.
Oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a piano right there?
That is very it doesn't come with the Phoenix anymore. It used to come with the Phoenix, I think, for original concept, and it came with the Emerald for a little while. Currently the only way, like if you didn't have one previously, the only way to actually get your hands on one of the pianos is to buy the Dominus pack. Because it's in the Dominus pack for some reason. And there was someone in my Discord recently who found that out and was considering buying the Dominus pack just to get the piano.
So yeah, that's a great example. Like there will be people,
I told him he was insane, but
there will be people who
will go to extreme lengths for very specific customization options.
Yeah. And I mean, how cool would it be? Like seriously, I bet somebody would pay like easy $20. Easy $20 just to have the option, like on an 890J or something, to have that swappable. And then smaller purchases first, like, because what is it, the 300 series? They did that more. That was the first one they really tried to customize inside out.
Coffee maker and clock and stuff like that.
Coffee maker and clocks, like you said. And how cool would that be to like, dude, I would pay money to have something. And by God, when the game becomes VR compatible, that piano player,
player.
MIDI controller, MIDI support, please.
Well, yeah, that's actually another question that comes up, and we can ask that. Would you like to see MIDI controller added to the game, so you could say maybe pick up a guitar and then use MIDI controls to play that guitar or play a piano or that sort of things?
As a musician, 100% yes, need that. Like,
yeah,
then I could actually, I don't know, play for other people in game.
That'd be cool.
Put
speakers in ships so you can plug in your aux cable and blast music through your ship.
That is like my whole thing. I've said this before in the past. Like that's my whole goal in Star Citizen. Like my org goal. Like one day when I finally get it together is I've worked in the concert industry for a very long time, and I always thought it'd be cool to basically do space roadies and be like a space roadie company that provides equipment, people, and transport for like shows, crews, whatever. And it would be nice if there was the ability for like, okay, because you know, from the back end, your home, if you had the ability, you could plug in a mixer with your mic could be on the computer. It could default to this mixer that you have, and you know, you could technically broadcast into game music, right? You could broadcast your own music, but you don't have the immersion of actually somebody looking like they're performing music right now.
You know, some punk busting
that's
out
like
the
a
diamond,
way far away like detail, but and I know some people are in the comments going, that's totally unnecessary. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? Live a little, like enjoy life.
Well,
like,
I will also
on the street. Like, come on.
I will also add that this is not the first time that something like this is. I've talked about it, but I've heard other people talk about it, and there are other MMOs that already have it. Lord of the Rings Online had this back in like the late 2000s. They had this, so it's not some like far off, distant pipe dream, like half of the
Right.
things Star Citizen can be sometimes. It's just like, this is
Yeah.
proven technology that works. So
Yeah.
It's
and
not unusual at all for a game like this to have it
Yeah.
exist.
and how many, I know there's plenty of CIG developers who are musicians.
Oh, 100%.
So like, I can
Jay?
guarantee you they'd be down for that. So Jared, Jay Lee,
What they're
I think
called? What is
Forrest.
it? Fresh out of straight out of Stanton. That's like
Yeah.
the cover band.
Yeah.
And they sing Cher really well. I will
Yeah.
give, you know,
Chad.
Chad always kills.
Chad is actually has a PhD. Chad McKinney, I think, has a PhD
Yes.
in
Oh
in
my
music.
God.
Like,
And he is such a bit. He's one of the only, like, he's one of those people I love. Like when I see him tweet about operas, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk about opera, buddy.
So the answer
Even
is
though-
Chad.
Metal.
He's a
Chad,
bastard.
tell us what we need to do to get this happening in the game. Just let us know. Who do we need to tell? Do we need to like take Chris aside and then like bombard him? Do we need to start a meme campaign? We need to know how we
Chad.
can get this.
We need to write letters.
Chad.
Yeah.
Chad, l'amour. L'amour, l'amour. Fatto de poema. Okay, sorry.
There we go.
That's a little
It was,
habit there
it
for
was
you.
nice to add that in because the question had just popped up there. But yeah, I mean, and as you mentioned, like that's one of the things I want to do with my bar in Star Citizen is have nights where I can like bring in people who are playing music or like have open mic nights for like karaoke nights, because there's every bar needs a karaoke night, no matter how bad someone's singing.
At the Copacabana. I love that song. Man, I would love to see people. I'm sure orgs already do that in games.
Yeah.
You know. There's all kinds, you know, you as a player can broadcast that stuff in the game. You can find a way. There's equipment and things to do, but yeah, it'd be fun.
And something it's something that I see a lot of like RP games, like the GTA RP servers, they like to do that as well. And so that will also bring a lot more RP players into the game, because just mentioning that, I'm sure if I'll talk to like say Myth, and Myth would lose his fucking mind over that idea. Just because
Myth
of how cool that would be.
Mythomatic, shout out. I'm gonna shout him out in chat.
Yeah, shout out in chat. Great content creator, deserves your watch. I got to bring him in and talk about RP with him on this channel at some point with other folks. All right. Max asks, what food do you refuse to consume in game?
None.
And Buster's losing her mind. I don't know what's going on with Buster.
It's a funny question.
I don't think there's any food that I refuse to consume. I would say there's one specific food that I just have this kind of headcanon in, and that's the double chili hot dog at Grimhex. I know that thing is gonna give me diarrhea every time I eat it. You're gonna eat that and go straight to the toilet. It's probably absolutely delicious.
The double
But
dog.
I know that one's just completely gonna destroy you.
In the future,
still-
when you go to the hospital at Grimhex, they're like, we need to give you a laxative. Here, eat this hot dog. Buster, you saying something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, in relation to the whole hot dog thing, I mean, like, you guys know I love all the I still need to do my hot dog stream.
Yeah.
And that's actually coming along. We talked about that this week at work. I was like, hey, I really need to at least film it, if not do it live. But yeah, we were actually working out with Chef the kinks of how that would work in the studio this week. So I'm really excited. I swear to God, the hot dog stream I promised like 2 years ago is coming along.
I can't wait for the yakisoba dog. That's just gonna be wow. Oh,
That's a trip up to the H Mart. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I gotta do. You know.
I would say I tend to not consume any of the alien fruits that you can purchase, because I'm a bit picky in person. I'm a picky fruit eater. Like I'll eat fruit, but some fruit I'm just looking at, I'm like, I have no idea what you taste like. Like, you look delicious, but I'm
They have descriptions.
yeah, but it's like
Good to me.
Like one of them tastes like a very bitter lime.
Yeah.
Very bitter lime.
So like that's why
I don't think I've ever consumed any fruit in game.
Yeah, go read the descriptions. They actually give very accurate, because a long time ago I actually messaged Xylo and said, hey, because they used to have that bar menu at that one place, that bar on ArtCorp, right? And it's not there anymore. It's not the same menu anymore, but there was like
Yeah.
a drink menu. There was a cocktail menu. And it had some very, like, some of the fruits listed were alien. I actually reached out to Xylo and I was like, dude, what are those supposed to taste like? Can you ask somebody to, and he's like, yeah. And then eventually they came into, like, those fruits became eatable in game. And it was like, he was like, no, we're good. We're working on, like,
The lore team has done multiple posts and jump points
We're getting it.
about
We're
the
getting it,
various
Buster.
fruits. They're
he was like,
literal.
we'll get you.
There's a page-long description of some of those fruits now, thanks to Buster in jump points. That was
That probably was me, yeah.
yeah. I mean, thank you, Xylo, I guess, for passing that along to the lore team and to Ben Lesnick, who
I wanted to make the drink, so I was like, dude, what do they taste like? I have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of, if you know something about cocktails, you can kind of figure out the context clues of a cocktail, but like, okay, there's one ingredient, I don't know what it is. So with the way this cocktail's profile is, maybe it's sweet, or maybe it's the citrus in the drink, that kind of thing.
And I will say, Dakota said something about, like, I feel bad for the person who had to write Rantadung. Rantadung is actually really good because it actually gives us a description of what Rantas were. Because we had no idea what a Ranta was, but the dung actually describes what, in the description, it describes what the creature is. So it's pretty cool.
Humech, what won't you eat?
Nothing. Well, I guess not Rantadung. I don't think.
I mean, I can't think of anything I wouldn't eat, but my favorite things to eat are hot dogs and Buster's bars. I mean, come on. Best things in the game. And then the katsu sandwich. I will give that. Yeah, the katsu. Yeah. Every time I see, what's the name of that sandwich shop in New Babbage?
New Babbage, yeah.
I always think it says Tywin. A Lannister always eats his sandwich.
Yeah. All right, Jude in the chat. I'm with you there. I usually survive mainly off of the beef cubes and butter.
Okay, I will refuse to eat that. There we go. There's the answer. Just because Jude Lux said it. Hey, Jude Lux.
They're so efficient. So easy to get.
They're efficient.
Grab them at Port Alsar while you're there.
Yeah. All right. MMO or Goth, I think I can't remember this, who asks, will we be able to have prosthetics and a Titan suit?
Yes.
But could we, or we will be able to have we will be able to have prosthetics and a Titan suit, but could we be able to customize our brains one day without the use of drugs, but electronically?
Well, the best way is to do stuff with your brain is drugs. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, chat. Come on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we tried. I think we tried that in 315 in every landing zone.
Yeah.
And you saw the results of that. Those were a fun few PTU patches.
I think they just want Warhammer style implants and augments and stuff.
There we go. I don't think we're gonna have those sorts of stuff. Yeah, the brain stuff isn't making a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense in terms of lore, and it doesn't really make sense in terms of like customization. I think I do not doubt that we might have full cyberization in game at some point, where players could basically replace all of their body parts with
But your brain is the key one, right? Yeah, like that's the thing that has to remain the same to remain you.
As long as they give us something that looks like a scouter, from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. There we go.
I mean, brain augments just sound weird to me, because how do you implement that in game? I mean, I guess it would be stuff like you have like, but at the same time that like, okay, say like heightened senses, right? You smell better, but that could, is that a brain function, or is that just like tweaking something? Like, it's such a, the brain is such a understandable thing, even in the 21st century. I think it's a little bit like, come on, like I don't want to put that on CIG.
How would you even do that in terms of gameplay? Like how would you make it work like that?
I guess
like,
it would translate to like heightened senses or like, but okay, here's an example. The Broca's area. The Broca's area is right at the frontal lobe I believe is what it's called, and that controls speech patterns. I mean, how do you augment your speech through a brain? Like you don't you would augment the vocal cords.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's a bridge too far.
Star Citizen, I don't think.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You're not going to rewire your brain in real life.
Yeah.
And not that I'm trying to say Star Citizen is real hard, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have the same brain, whatever brain you play the game with.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Who asks from MMOR Goth TH. I can't say it right. More Goth, I guess. More Goth. The bumper sticker contest is running currently. Could that mean that there's a bumper sticker customizations option probably coming in the verse?
No, they've done a bumper sticker before.
They've done it before.
For a Citizen Con. It was a Citizen Con because I entered it, and my sticker said, they call me Miss Ill, and it was a picture of a missile in the middle of it, like one of the missiles from the games. And the thing is like they've done that before. They usually when they do them before Citizen Con, they're actually going to make whichever one wins. They make like as a swag bag thing for everybody. So I wouldn't say that's coming in game just because of that contest, but I do think it's just a fun way for the community to express themselves more than anything. So
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see that as decals.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I would
other video.
I'd love to give the one which is like my other ship is a Bengal one.
Yeah.
Put that on the back of an Argo cargo.
I used to have a bunch of bumper stickers on an old truck of mine, and one of my bumper stickers said, "My other car is a Decepticon."
Nice.
There you go. All right. Next question comes from Darionator, who asks, should we be able to upload our own sneezing audio files as part of customization?
Yes. I saw that question earlier.
Yeah.
No, because that's too much data to store, and we need data. We need CIG to just store the damn game. But it would be funny. Yes, it would be funny, Darsh. I agree. It's a funny question. Thank you.
That'd be a nice emote, at least. I think that'd be a nice emote.
Yeah. That would actually be a cool contest. Like whoever submits the most animated sneeze wins the contest and has to go to like Austin to mocap it.
To mocap it, yeah.
That would be a funny contest.
Or at least direct the mocap. I've met a couple of the mocap artists that work for CIG. There's like 2 or 3 that they have that are dedicated, and they're really fun. So like sitting them down with them and being like sneeze. You have to sneeze into the arm like this, or whatever. So. All right.
I have a loud sneeze, so I totally understand that.
Hydrolux6557 asks, what are some examples of alien pets, so not including cats and dogs, from lore that CIG may add in the future? All right,
Weedle.
I got these questions for me.
I forgot the name of it.
Weedle, my dog.
Flat cat.
There are a few.
The flat cat is one. The flat cat is an Osoyan cat. It's like it looks kind of like a cat, but it's Oso has a huge like atmosphere, like a heavy like the gravity is much higher on Oso. So it looks like a cat that's been squished. So they're called flat cats. They're an endangered species. They're a protected species, but in like the 29th century, people started smuggling them out and became a huge rage all over the place.
Quasi grazers.
Quasi grazers, yes.
Quasi grazers.
The Thorshoe Gray is funny because the Thorshoe Gray, which is the one you have in your thing, they were a pet, but what they don't realize is that Thorshoe Grays, the way that they like mark territory is, or like the way that they display dominance is through being shiny. So Thorshoe Grays in like the 29th century, people started to collect them because they look kind of cool, and people started reporting them escaping their tanks and then going on and breaking valuable things because they'd like see like a shiny vase on the other side and they think it would be a potential mate. So they are like a potential
so cute. Oh my god.
A potential like enemy, and so they jump out of the tank and run over there and just like smash the shit out of the vase.
But they're so pretty.
They are. Yeah.
I'm looking at the Star Citizen tools. They're beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
And there are
I've never heard of this.
you could actually put in your tank during the hangar days. You could actually put a Thorsha Gray in there. So
there, I posted the links to Thorsha Gray and stuff.
They're great. They're great.
What's the cat one? What's the cat one called?
Flat cat. The flat cat. Yeah.
It's not on the thingy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
not on the Fire System Wiki.
Yeah. Crotch spider, and of course
oh yeah, crotch spider. Crotch spider was one of the funniest things.
What was the other one?
Of all time.
And rantas. Rantas are giant isopods.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Look up an isopod. They're basically isopods are basically roly polies, like little pill bugs.
Oh no!
Type stuff.
But in the water, they get bigger. They get huge. They get like the size, like 3-4 feet long. They look like an alien creature from another planet, which is why it works so well.
The only thing the wiki has is the dung, so whatever. I'm not gonna send y'all pictures of poop.
They have the description that says it's from an isopod like creature. So I looked up what an isopod was and was like, what?
Are they big enough to ride? I want to ride a ranta.
Wood lice or wood louse. No, I can't. I don't. Actually, we don't know if they're big enough to ride. They may be big enough to ride.
I think a bird, like an avian thing, would be cool. Some kind of avian creature would be neat. Especially with the pirate thing. What if it was what if there was like a pyro like NPC, right? Like some big pirate badass person
that has like a
and she or he had like some kind of avian creature that's maybe not like a bird, right? But it's something with wings that flies, and it's like beautiful, it's colorful, and maybe it's somewhat sentient. So instead of just like the parrot like like talking, like it's like, are you really gonna do that? That's really stupid. Why would you do that? I don't know.
Talking about customization, you could have some sort of like perch that you can put on your shoulder. That's where
like an armor perch. Oh, that would be. There's a customization option for everybody.
I'd love to see bats that could be pets.
This is just fun.
I just like
space bats.
Pet bats. Space bats. Yeah.
Cosmic bats.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Bats.
Or something that climbs up on you. Like a
there was
kind of squirrely monkey thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that. There is actually a Xi'an animal that was created by the fans. It was concepted by the artist, but it was named and kind of described by the fans. I can't remember. It looks like a lemur. It's like a Xi'an lemur that exists. So yeah.
Yes.
All right. The next question comes from Griffin Gaming RPG, who asks, "What in 317, the quote unquote nothing there patch, have you enjoyed the most?" We talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to say looting and selling because I am a loot goblin. So, what about you, Astral?
I think I mentioned this earlier. I love the Hull A. I think it's such a neat little ship. I I really adore it. Just flying around in it. The way that it like opens and closes is really neat. I will just fly around opening and closing the cargo racks over and over again because it's just such a neat animation. It's got a really cool interior. I just love it.
Humech?
Well, I imagine my answer is similar to yours, but also, since I haven't played it a lot, the performance. Straight up 317 performs very nicely, and I felt like when I was flying in atmosphere, I could feel and notice the effects of the drag and all that as I'm moving the ship around at different speeds. Like everything was just moving more fluidly, and I really appreciate that as someone who just enjoys to fly for no other purpose. So yeah, the performance is where it's at for me. But I do like to sell. So
the place I like to call "Fuck yeah, this is awesome" lake.
Yeah.
That's the name of the lake. Fuck yeah, this is awesome lake.
What planets is it on?
And New
Hurston?
Babbage.
New Babbage?
Microtech.
Okay. Yeah.
New Babbage. Like the lake at the beginning of the river,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, this is awesome lake. This is
Every
pretty
time-
awesome.
Every time I go there, there's usually like a bunch of people there. Everyone in their ships. It's just like a constant ongoing ship show. It's great.
It's really funny too because like the song when I like the day after I went there that came to mind was like what's that Alan Jackson song way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Where it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. Well, we laid rubber on Georgia asphalt. Okay, sorry, I'll just get stuck in that loop. But it really it made me think like that. There's the same thing. Like there's always somebody there. There's always people there. I'm like, man, that reminds me of like when I'm a kid and we would like go to the lake and we get out on boats and we throw M80s in the water and shit right before they blew up, and that kind of shit. Like just hanging out on the lake. Drinking a beer, like having a good time. Like it was very. That's what it reminds me of with all the ships parked there, like at a lake with all the trucks, the boats on the. Oh, it is awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I would love for them to add in some kind of camping system where you can like set up a tent and
or like a temporary shelter of some kind.
Like a fire, do some fishing and stuff like that. I know they have
fishing better make it into this freaking game. I swear to God.
Not for a little while, but
not for a while. But we gotta have fishing, right? Fishing's important.
But some way to just like if you could just like set up a campfire and like some chairs around it next to the lake or next to the river. I think that would be so fun.
Space s'mores.
Yeah.
Space ghost stories.
Yeah, just roast some marshmallows, just sit around and chat around a campfire. I think that would be
double dogs.
I just think that would be so much fun.
Oh, that would be the best. And it made me hungry. I'm very hungry for hot dogs right now.
Yes. This whole conversation has been nothing but food.
Camping food specifically, like hot dogs and steak and stuff like that, like camp food. I'm really hungry for camp food today.
All right, next question comes from Goki, who asks, will the cargo refactor make it to 318?
No, I don't know. I'm not a dev.
Devs don't even know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, there we go.
Final answer.
Yes.
The problem the problem is that like there's just we don't know a lot of information yet. Like CIG hasn't started talking about 318 really other than at all really. So the answer is maybe, I guess, yes. There's nothing that says there's nothing that seems to indicate that they're not able to make it. It's just we just haven't heard a lot about from it yet. So it's hard to tell.
Perhaps.
I have a feeling it's going to be a relatively small patch just because of how long 317 has taken. So
and what part of the year are we in? So the next patch will be the third
July.
patch of a
second patch.
And the way the way it kind of works out most of the time is like first patch of the year, not too much drama. Second patch of the year, kind of same thing. Third patch, a little bit of drama. Fourth patch, big drama.
Always a ramp up.
Yeah. It always is because it's at the end of the year. It's the holidays. CIG is like anybody else trying to enjoy their holidays and get through all that stuff, right? So fall is just that season where we're all busy.
They're human too.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Isn't that nuts?
They're not. You mean they're not androids made by the Sungs?
Yes.
Or the
Sung?
Wait.
Sung?
Yeah, Sung. I was thinking Sing, like Con Noonien Sing. I was about to say Con Noonien Sing. No, that's a different guy. That's a different guy.
All right. Next question comes from the Sweetie, who asks, what do you guys expect from CitizenCon? And a bold prediction for Pyro? Question mark. What? I mean,
I think they're just basically asking, do you think Pyro's gonna happen?
Okay, here's how CitizenCon is gonna work. They're gonna have the whole convention. They're gonna have like the stage. They're gonna have like some festivities, and then the lights are gonna go dim, and then the spotlight's gonna go down onto the stage, and Chris is gonna be standing there, and Chris is gonna raise his arms like praising the sun and say, Pyro is out, and then walk off stage, and that'll be the end of CitizenCon.
That would be the best but worst CitizenCon thing.
He has done that before in the sense where like he did do the whole thing, and at the end of the presentation he's like it's now in PTU.
A thing has happened.
Yeah, this is now in PTU. Go.
That was a good day.
Jared got to do that
and
this
then
year.
Tony Z will get up and talk for 2 hours about stuff that nobody but him understands.
But we'll listen
Jared got to do
because
this,
holy
that
shit.
this year at CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Jared got to be the one that said the new patch was out
Yeah.
at CitizenCon this last year. So yay, Jared got to be Chris Roberts this year.
I think if CIG, I think we're going to get Pyro either the end of this year or early next year. There's no more like, oh, Pyro may or may not make it. There's just too much focus on them trying to get Pyro done for them to not have it.
Too much focus on Squadron, I think, honestly.
And especially with the most recent ISC, they showed off a ton of Pyro and the spacescaping and stuff that they've been doing. That's the term that they use.
I was just like, no, I like that word. Like, it's spacescaping. I love that.
But yeah, I think it's always good to see stuff in ISC because I always say like if something's supposed to be coming out soon and you haven't seen it in an ISC in a while, it's probably not coming in that patch. So I think, seeing a bunch of stuff from Pyro like we did in this ISC is always a good sign.
100%.
All right. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic, who asks, one thing I would love is nose art on ships with customized custom images.
Okay. Well, there is one ship with nose art.
Which one's that?
There is
the
Valentine ship.
The Heartseeker.
The Heartseeker. Yeah. The Heartseeker does. That is the only one with true nose art.
Yeah.
But I agree. I would love to see nose art. I would love to see customizable nose art.
Just like we were talking with decals, nose art is in there as well. Being able to pick like a region or something like that. I mean, every racing game does this.
Let me finish up the question.
Read the rest. Yeah.
It'd have to be a premium service because submissions would be approved by humans. Would you like this and be willing to pay for it? Yes.
That's kind of what we talked about with
Yeah.
I like the queue, to be honest. Just like anyone can do it, but maybe like an expedite for a bit extra money or something like that.
I wouldn't mind a custom nose art being like something you have to pay for, like a custom decal that you can upload,
and it's unique to your ship.
Yeah.
I mean, that could justify enough income to hire an employee dedicated to doing that too.
Yeah.
That's a whole revenue stream and a new job at CIG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so many people would want to do that and upload their own stuff. Like,
yeah,
I pay money for really stupid stuff in this game, so
I
think that's fine.
I think there could be easily an economy where CIG has like shapes that you could use to make your own icons, dedicated like stencils or kind of
like Canva, right? Like it was like kind of a Canva style. Like here's some assets. You could arrange those assets in any way you like. That way, there's a bit more control over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And CIG can but at the same time, people are very creative in the worst ways too. So that actually, I like the idea of that. Like you can kind of like you said,
something like that for everybody.
Browser extension thing.
Yeah, and then something like, and then like stickers that you might be able to that they create themselves like for major events or other things like the forum badges sort of concept, and then a custom one that you pay for, but that it has to it could take 6 months, a year, or whatever. There's no time limit, and you have to pay this fee before it even comes in, that kind of stuff. But
and the thing is like Darsh said something about custom fonts and logos. Like he had that idea, hey, just go with custom fonts and logos on the ship names and things like that. But like that's the thing though, is CIG very much, I think since we're on the subject of customization, one of the things that really comes down to it, or what we come down to with CIG, is like people talk about like, why can't I have like a like this kind of thing on a ship or whatever. CIG put a lot of work and time into some of these assets, these ships, these places, and a lot of thought, a lot of consideration. And I understand the idea of they don't want it to look gaudy, because you could have all the money in the world and still not have any like true design understanding. Like, there's some rich people I've known in my life that wear the most god awful things. Just because they have money doesn't mean they know what looks good and what doesn't. And the way that applies to stars, you can be anybody in the world, but there's still a design, there's still an artistic integrity that they probably want to maintain. And I totally understand how if somebody just put something awful and atrocious on a ship, it's like, it's in a way, it might feel like a joke. I'm not saying, I'm not accusing them of being like that offended or anything ever, but like I have to say, like, if I designed the 890 jump and somebody threw like, a bunch of like a print of a bunch of bananas on it, it depends. I mean, if it was well done, it's well done. But I could see how it's like, man. And I'm not saying they have to, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a design there. There's thought put into it, and I understand
someone in the ship team. Someone in the ship team took a lot of time to make sure all the light bounced off of all these surfaces, and you just turn around. You turn around and put a poop emoji on the side of the thing. And
I mean, I'm not. Again, like, free space, right? But
express yourself, but at the same time, someone spent 15 hours doing that, and they don't want to see their work ruined. Yeah. 15 hours on that section.
I'm not lack of style shaming. Lack of style shaming /art. I'm just saying that, come on. Like,
CIG has.
You can, I don't care what you do in your personal life, right? Like, you wear cargo shorts and you wear, like, slides with socks, whatever. Like, that's you. That makes you comfortable. It makes you happy. But the thing is that's your house. That's your house. That's your body. Okay? I mean, yes, you paid for this ship, but at the end of the day, that belongs to a company that wants that to look good.
That's also going to be seen by other people in the game, and you have no idea, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next couple of questions. I'm going to answer this question pretty quickly because I think that I actually know the answer. Gin and Tonic asks, why can't we name our ships yet? They said new ships would be nameable when they came out. How can we get CIG to tell us the status of naming? Can we meme it somehow? So the answer is, we already know why. It's because all you have to do is look at what the expedition, the names for the expedition Carrack, and how impossible it is to read. They even said they didn't like the names scaling improperly, that it's hard to read them when you change the skins, and they want to go back and redo it, but they've moved on from that project, and so they'll have to come back to it later.
It's on a back burner. It's on the back burner for a second.
It's not, So we already know why. It's
got to be just the rethought. It's got to be tool. And to be honest, sometimes it's worth it with a project. Like, you're trying to figure something out, and you got to walk away from it for a little while before when you can come back to it, you work out some other projects.
Yeah. They could invent a tool for things that has to deal with, like, shaders on the exterior of a ship to make it more resource friendly. And then suddenly that fixes the problem that they were having. Like, well, there we go. So like, coming back to it where the project is further along and they have more aspects to the ships fleshed out, that makes a little bit more sense. Gin and Tonic then asks, speaking of gender equality in CIG and in gaming in general, other than Sandy Roberts, there aren't any women in upper management at CIG. It's an industry-wide problem. Do you think something like this should be addressed? Do you think it would be a positive difference? I'm going to say some stuff which people may not know. CIG doesn't have anyone in the upper management, but like, those are the people who own the company.
Like top tier, like
top
pillar management.
Other than like Sandy, but the most of the management, there are not an insignificant number of women who like run CIG.
We don't have a list of every woman that works at CIG and what her position is, but we have, and there are plenty of them in
the head of
upper
QA.
Echelon.
I forgot. I keep forgetting her name. Yeah, I forget her name.
Sam. Her name's Sam. I forget her last name, but her name's Sam.
She's the voice of the Ace. She's the voice of ASOP Terminal now. The new ASOP Terminal. That's her voice, and she
deserves to be the voice of that.
She's the head of QA, like of all QA for the entire company. That is her job.
And for years.
Yeah.
Galactica.
She's the head of social media. Yeah.
and I know there's I'm not as, but the
Artists,
thing is you don't see
programmers,
them
yeah.
all the time on ISC because people can't behave
Yeah.
on the internet. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. I'm sure the people can't look at what happened last year. Was it 2020 actually when CIG released the Women's Day like celebrate
Yeah.
basically interviewing 8 or 9 of the women that work there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much toxicity in those comments. There was so much toxicity on Twitter, all kinds of places, just because, oh God, women do stuff. How dare they not be sexy poopy? It's, and I'm not saying y'all like those of you that I'm preaching to the choir, right? But they're people who can't behave, and maybe those women don't want to be, and so you don't know that they're there because you don't see them like you see, like. John Crew and Sean Tracy and all these guys that have been there for years.
Let me put it this way: Sherry is she's a meme lord. She is a shit taker, and I love her for. She has a pastime of finding obscure 80s mecha anime songs. Is one of her pastimes. All right,
love it.
Okay, like that's one of her preservation like goals in life, and I love that woman for that reason alone. But you don't see her a lot on videos because if you look at any of the Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxies that she hosted, there is some fucked up comments in that comment section.
Yep, people can't behave.
Yeah,
and CIG treats their women and non-male and non-cis employees very well. So
yes. And the other thing too is, there's again, I'm not trying to speak in binaries. There's guys, gals, non-binary pals. There's all kinds of people that work at CIG, like Humech just said. But the thing is too is that it is worth noting that CIG is partnered with Women in Games, which is is an organization that focuses on things like getting women in the industry network together, and also partnering with businesses like CIG that are very that make a big point to be welcoming to all genders and all people. And they actually, it's worth saying this too. Earlier this year, like a couple months ago, there was an event with Women in Games where it was like sort of almost like an online convention expo kind of thing, and they had multiple companies with different panels going on throughout the day. And CIG actually had their own, Cloud Imperium had their own thing like all day. They had all kinds of ladies that worked at CIG coming through on that. They had, as well as, like, it was such a great event. And I mean, I don't work personally in games, right? I'm not a game dev or designer. But I actually watched a lot of it that day because it was cool to see them talk, like, telling women about, hey, come work for us because we want you and we're going to freaking make sure you have a great work environment. But also, here's some good advice for the industry overall. They had some great panels. CIG had some great panels giving advice to women in games, the attendees, just all kinds of great advice. Seriously, it was wonderful. And shout out to everybody that participated that at CIG. Y'all did an excellent job, and I very much appreciated watching it, even if I don't work in games. It was nice to hear the.
All right, I'm going to address this right now, Jin. The sarcasm isn't friendly, isn't helpful. Like, I get what you're saying. I know you're intentionally being like this is a problem in the industry, and it is. And
it's not a problem at CIG. I'm sorry, it's just not.
And
the reason to the standard. They're not Blizzard, okay? There's not women, okay? I'm sorry, I love you, Jen, but Gin and Tonic, like this is a non-issue at CIG. A non-issue. And I will give you everything in my, like, I will tell you that is not a problem.
The reason why
hires are never wise, like
never will be.
The reason why
that's the reason why about CIG.
The reason why a lot of the head management are men has little to do with anything but the fact of seniority. Most of them have been around since the beginning of the project. And that's the reason why Sam is the head of QA, because she's been around for like 7 years in the project.
Yeah.
She's been multiple different hats in the
Sure,
team.
sure. There's no women that are pillars, but guess what? Sean Tracy's been there literally since like almost the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, like Brian Chambers has been there for a long time too. They were just the right people that fell there. It is a meritocracy at CIG. Okay, it is a meritocracy.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Speaking of that online event, really wish I could have watched that, but if they do it again next year, definitely check it out. Because they didn't have anything recorded or whatever that you could check out afterwards. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know if they have it recorded, Buster, somewhere?
There was like 3 panels.
I will look into that. I will actually, because yeah, they made it to where only people that were registered could see. I know that the panels were, but like CIG had a constant room. Basically, they had like their own room going all day.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to all y'all at CIG that participated in that. Y'all did such a good job. It was wonderful to watch.
All right, next question comes from Del Ener, who asks, tangentially related to customization, but is Star Citizen way too evil space British? This has been a pet peeve of mine. This has been a pet peeve of mine for a long time. CIG's voices are British and super British.
Oh my God, they should let me do a voice. I would have. Come on. I would be better than that guy that's always like,
space voice.
Like, I hate the most is the guy that complains that you buy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
I get it. I get that he's a joke. Like he's a twist on what's that movie?
Clerks?
Kevin. Yes, he's Clerks, right?
Yeah.
There's Clerks references in what he says. I get it. But my God, I'll do a voice. Come on, let's go.
I can think of a few.
There's a handful.
A few characters that aren't like let's face Rowena Dooley.
Yeah.
From Xenothreat.
Yeah, no, there's a handful
French
of them.
Accents, or
but we need to have more accents.
Non-British.
Like give us some different, African accents or Middle Eastern accents or Asian, accents, Southeast Asian, North Asian, Mongolian, Pacific Islander. They all have their own kind of flavors of accents, which you could easily bring in and do. And you can either hire actors who are those ethnicities who know how to speak them, or actors who can do those lines convincingly.
And that would be great. And I'd also like to see NPCs who are aliens and have some sort of accent that is not really an accent that anyone on Earth would have, but that is a result of their alien dialect when they try and speak English or whatever. I think that would be really cool.
A good example. Accents. Yeah. A good example, as chat pointed out, is like we talked about Rowena Dooley, who has more of an American accent. It's voiced by Anna, what's her name, Dimitru, who's British. So like she does a pretty decent, convincing American accent, and there's plenty of people who can do those sorts of accents. So, all right. I don't know where Buster went, other than to go do accents. Just left.
I can do voices up and go.
Imagine the Teverin with no lips speaking English.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? What y'all ready? Y'all ready to fly some spaceships and go places? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready to go places? Y'all ready to do stuff? Y'all ready to go strange new worlds, seek life and new civilizations, to boldly go where nobody has gone before? There you go. There's an accent. That's another white people accent. Let's get white people.
Let's. I'm down with what's his name, Silas Kerner, who is Space Elon Musk, but Space Elon Musk if he had the charisma of I always break his name. I'll say his name. I'll say this and people know it. All right.
That's the Consolidated Outland guy.
Yes,
right?
the head of Consolidated Outland. Someone's going to scream it in chat.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. Thank you.
Matthew McConaughey.
It's Matthew McConaughey mixed with Elon Musk, and it's mwah. I love it, and it means in my brain that everyone talks like that on Bremen, which he's from. So like Bremen has become in my mind Space Texas.
The thing too is what was I gonna say? Oh shoot, I just walked through the doorway, so I lost it. But
I mean, they're the best ship that they have in the game right now is literally a space pickup truck. So
Yeah.
The Nomad?
yeah, I love the Nomad.
You
It's
love the
fantastic.
Nomad?
Love
Like
the
you
Nomad.
love
too.
the
I
Nomad?
adore
Yes.
the Nomad.
You
I
adore the Nomad. I mean,
adore
it's
it.
cool. Don't get me wrong. I like it.
Any ship
But
that looks like it belongs
I
in
want to
anime,
push
I
the
wanna
love.
make fun of you.
Nomad
Nomad is that.
for ship of the year
Oh!
2022.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You were
Yeah,
saying,
stuff
Humech?
filling out the back.
You
What are you
better
saying?
get Red Lear to put
I got
Gary
some
on it, because that's the
green.
only way you're gonna win. That's the only way you're gonna win, because that's how the Argo won, baby.
Humech, what were you saying?
I don't remember.
Okay. So okay, it was some reference to anime, and it was like I know Astral and I are both.
I was saying any ship that looks like it belongs in anime, I love in Star Citizen. This includes
yes.
the Gladius, the Nomad, the Redeemer. I know you hate it, but it looks like it's from anime.
What about the Tana, like the Corée and all that?
Yes,
stuff?
I fly the Tana
Yeah?
all day.
And the
Like,
Cartual? The Cartual looks like an anime ship, for sure.
straight up.
The
Straight
most
up.
anime of the ships.
The
Agreed.
Gladius reminds me of Macross.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the show.
Macross, what's that? I'm not a weeb.
Macross. Have you heard of Robotech?
No.
You didn't watch it?
These are like mech
I don't watch
animes.
anime.
This was like a cartoon that when we were kids. They had it on.
What again?
Robotech. In America, it was called
No.
Robotech.
No, I watched
No?
Inspector Gadget.
It was the same. It was the
You do?
same channels.
And
Yeah.
Gladius
I haven't watched
reminds
that
me
one.
of something from something like that.
And Batman the Animated Series. That's the other one I watched.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic, who asks, "Could the sameness be a symptom of Chris Roberts insisting on improving anything?" And these referring to the sameness of like NPCs and such. And I would say that I don't think it's Chris Roberts insisting on everything. The way that I understand how CIG makes decisions is that Chris Roberts is the final decider, but Chris Roberts is not the person who decides everything. So, like, he will see everything, but he will be sitting in a group with like the other designers, like Tony and Sean and other people like that who were there to talk about stuff, and John. If it's a ship, John Crew will be there. If it's, if he does 4, it'll be Sean Tracy or whatever. And the other teams will be there to pitch their ideas to that team, and then they will kind of talk about it and go over there. I think the sameness is probably just an issue of CIG wants to really hone in on culture. So like you'll notice that every system has its own. We talked about this last video, has its own style.
Yeah.
And the reason why we don't have like culture that extends to the the outposts and the stations more just has to do with time. Like that's a lot of work.
Pyro's I think going to be a really good example of each unique place in a system having. I mean, we already got that with Stanton a little bit, but Stanton is like a lot of, it was the first one.
It's
like the rest going forward. The rest going forward, every system going forward, I think is going to have very specific, but it's also going to share stuff, right? Because there's the homesteads, right? The homesteads. I mean, it's like you go to the homestead store and you buy like the concierge homestead and you take it to whatever planet you put it down. Yeah. There's player influence in there, but yeah. I think Pyro is going to be the first example of.
Yeah. We've been waiting for a long time of seeing the Ninetales style. There's been a Ninetales style floating around for years.
Oh man.
Concepts. And
look that up, chat. That was a sprint report like a year or two ago. And then there was some people complained that it was too cyberpunk. And it was like, but it's the future. People are going to still wear weird, funny, interesting stuff. Again, it goes back to that people complain about like the game having things in it that are too garish or whatever. I'm sorry, but aren't you a human? Have you ever been to LA for like an hour?
Austin?
Austin? Like, have you been outside? I mean, people, especially metropolitan. Yeah.
Go ahead, Humech.
Yeah, Humech.
I was just saying, and Seattle, just
Seattle,
the north
great example.
Incredibly colorful area, crazy graffiti everywhere. It's awesome.
People, I don't care if it's 930 years in the future. I don't think every human will want to be a cookie cutter of another human, even though that's kind of what with the whole regenerating thing. But
Well, I mean, people in modern days will go to as extreme of lengths as possible to
Stand out.
to feel unique and to express themselves.
We are an
and
individualistic species.
And that far in the future, with technology has advanced and given them the ability to do even more things to express themselves and their uniqueness. Why would they not? Why would they not wear flashy stuff and neon lights on their clothing and have crazy, insane hair? Why would they not?
Why would they not? Because I mean, like you said, technology and all these things are only going to improve. I mean, one of the things in the game we talked about earlier is like when your arm falls off, and you have a robot arm. Augment. Like Humech brought augments and stuff up.
Augment cybernetics.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to have like an like an arm that maybe it looks like it's gold plated because you like gold, or it has a leopard print pattern, or it has
RGB,
or you really like Captain Hook, so you got it to look the end of it to just be a hook. Like people are as long as humans survive, there will always be eccentricity.
And I know regeneration is recent in lore, but that's probably the most cyberpunk thing you can think of.
Good point.
This is a very cyberpunk world.
I've always said that Star Citizen is what I've termed grim punk. It's very grimdark, and that the universe is very dismal. It's not like
it's not 40K, but
it's not 40K, but it's definitely settling into that vibe area where
that's actually why I can't play 40K. It's too grim for me.
But
I love it. But it's a lot.
But it's also heavily cyberpunk inspired. It's got definitely aliens vibes, obviously intentionally aliens vibes and Blade Runner vibes everywhere. And those are both iconic cyberpunk. So
literally, the sky is no longer the limit. You know what I mean? Like it's beyond the sky.
All right, next question comes from Steve B. Dancer, which I think is a bit of a shit question, but I think I can actually answer it, and Buster and Astral and Humech may be able to answer as well. Something I've noticed is that the writings and markings on the wall seem very masculine. What could you add to art and writings in Star Citizen to be more feminine?
Like, what do you mean by what does he mean by markings on the wall?
I think he means more like everything's more utilitarian. Like, for instance, like the advertisements and the
Stanton system itself is very corporate. And corporate.
I mean that is the point of Stanton is that every planet is owned by corporations. And so that is kind of the style of Stanton is that everything's going to be very corporate.
I mean, if you're talking about like just art, like you do like little pieces of art, little pieces of advertising, yada yada. Yeah, it's kind of masculine, but men tend to write the dumb things on the wall, not women. No, I'm just teasing.
If you want to see some things, like I would definitely like to see restaurants and other kind of venues like bars have a little bit more.
I would like to see classier things.
Like a little more classier.
Like a little more mix.
Yeah,
because like we have that like restaurant that's supposed to come into New Babbage eventually. That Opa, Opa. It always makes me think of Opa. Greek.
Oza.
What is that like Greek cheer? Yeah, Greek cheer. Oh, Oza.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, who knows what that's going to be like, and what's that going to be like to play that, like to have a fine dining experience in Star Citizen. But overall, I mean, I don't know. I don't think the advertisements they don't particularly say to me they're all masculine or they're all feminine or anything. They're pretty like neutral. I do think there's probably a few of them like or just things that are but it's that's not as much of a concern for me personally. I mean, what's that place like when you're at New Bat or you're at ArtCorp and it's like it's off in the distance and it actually has like a logo that's like a little flower. It looks very Japanese.
It's
very Japanese. Yeah, like I think ArtCorp actually is probably one of the best examples between like as far as like the balance between feminine like in general, because there's a lot of like pinks. There's a lot. I mean, and I don't say that pink is a women's color, but it's just it's an interesting balance. It's an interesting balance.
There's the one store that has like the holographic like pink purple rain coming
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
down
The
and
fizz,
stuff like
yeah.
stuff like that,
Rain.
and
Oh, the fizz,
I love that
fizz or
spot.
Yeah.
whatever.
I sometimes just hang out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of I don't really think about
there's
the
some really
ads.
neat.
Now, like when it comes to
The personal,
pyro and what was that?
I was just gonna say the personal expression to me matters more in expressing the
Right.
feminine, whereas like the environments, they are like a factor of that culture and
Yeah.
whatever coincides.
Right. Because like Orison, I think, has a kind of a feminine design.
It's
For
a lot of
sure.
a lot of
Yeah.
curves and a lot of
A lot of curves, a lot of
soft.
smooth, a
Yeah.
lot of
Cozy.
soft things.
Smooth lines, pink trees, pink clouds.
Yeah.
Hurston just feels like it doesn't really matter.
It feels like
Everybody's
death. It just feels like
Yeah.
death.
Yeah,
It's the entire cast.
yeah.
The
People are
whole
just trying to
series logo.
survive in Hearst, and they're fighting for their lives in the mines.
And think about it. No, think about it now. And this actually has led me to like an interesting thought. Let's think about this. Orison, like a place of money, of wealth, right? Kind of a feminine shape language. Same thing with, I would say, New Babbage, even to some degree, but it lives in this cold, like harsh environment at the same time. But then think about, like, remember Levski? I know, Astral, you may not be as familiar with Levski, but Levski, pretty utilitarian, pretty
Very.
masculine, and very
I know
hard
there a lot.
place. Hard
It
place,
felt,
right?
it felt more like a refugee camp to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Isn't it interesting how we associate feminine design and feminine design language with wealth
and luxury.
Yeah.
in general in life? It just occurred to me as we were talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Philosophical.
Everything.
Yeah, well, I think just because with wealth, you associate. I think it was I think it was Morph who said this in one of his videos, but you associate wealth with light and space.
Yeah.
And so designing things to allow in light and allow the space to feel more open and more
Right.
comfortable kind of comes along with that design language.
Right. And like, yeah, curves. Yeah, because it facilitates it, like you're saying. It facilitates the accentuation of light and openness.
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, even if you think about in like in Hurston compared to Orison, like Orison or even to New Babbage. I mean, New Babbage is inside these domes, but I personally feel like New Babbage feels like it's a lot more open than Hurston does. Hurston feels claustrophobic.
Yeah,
to me because it's a lot
it's not a
darker.
dome.
It's a lot, you know.
It's sepia. It's very sepia tones.
It's claustrophobic
Yeah.
because of how tight all the corridors are. They're huge, giant
feel the
buildings. that
weight.
just
Yeah, it's by
boom.
design, like Dar said. Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
by. We understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought,
Yeah.
because feminine design to me has a very organic shape. It's round, it's curved, it's smooth. It just kind of comes together. Whereas like something masculine is more angular. Just like women's bodies are more curved and men's bodies are more angular.
Yeah, that's the historian in me wants to go back.
Of it.
wants to go back to like the earliest gods we know were fertility gods, and we have the fetishes of those gods. Which, for anyone who wants to know what a fetish is, funny. It's actually just usually in terms of religious connotations, it's something that you use as a focal point for worship. So like a cross is a fetish. It's something you use as a local like a localization that you use for worship.
Yeah.
Though you don't really worship the cross in Christianity, but yeah, same idea. So the earliest like religious artifacts we've found are these way disproportioned human figures with like massive hips or huge bellies and tiny little arms.
Right,
and
the
legs and
women,
heads.
and it's specifically
They're
women.
supposed to be they're women. They're fertility gods. Is what they were, which just shows you how far back that concept of soft curves being feminine comes from. Is like it literally burned into our brains like genetic code. Sometimes it feels like
millennia.
So.
Yeah. And that's why I think it'll be interesting to see the different stations in Pyro once Pyro comes out, because with with Stanton, you have the ability to, make a city. Like, obviously the design of Microtech is much different than the design of Lorville, right? But when you have everything is just in these space stations, and that's where all the people live, and the different gangs, you have to find different ways of expressing the culture of the gang or the faction that lives there within these confines, because the stations are all kind of similar in design. And so I think we will see things like the different, the graffiti on the walls, and the layout of the interior of the station will be different to kind of express the different values and the cultures of these different factions within Pyro, without having, specifically like the landscape being completely different. So I think that'll be something really interesting that they can explore with that.
If there's one thing that CIG is good at, it's telling environmental stories. They are masters at environmental storytelling.
It reminds me of theater. It really does, because set design.
All right, next question.
It's more messy, which is...
Humech, what?
I was saying it's more messy, which is I like your comparison to theater versus a movie. Movie's very...
I absolutely 100%. This is something I've learned in the wisdom of getting older and understanding things more. Is I used to think, oh yeah, like movie or video games, especially first players, are basically like playing through a movie. And then I've got, no, it's theater. It's theater, because there's so you make choices, and that's one of the things. I mean, I'm not saying that film actors don't, but you watch a film, like when you're in a theater, you're experiencing it a bit more real. Like there's a real person, and so and the games almost like are trying to create that feeling for you. Is that realness? The realness. Sorry, RuPaul.
All right, next question. Because we're already at
we gotta go.
Hour and 16 minutes, and we've got 10 questions left.
Oh, no. We gotta get.
We'll get through some of these. I think some of these are pretty much less.
Lightning round. Yeah.
Hundakai asks, do we know the location for CitizenCon this year? And I believe it's LA. At the LA Convention Center. If it's going to happen
in person, it's going to be LA. But if not, then there's just not going to be an in-person one this year. They're going to put it off another year. And that's okay. Yeah. I just want to know very soon, because I need to start planning. I think a lot of us in the community are like, if you're going to tell us now. Yeah. Tell us by at the latest at the latest June. Seriously, the latest June, because people need to plan.
Yeah.
So it's true.
Please, CIG, please, if you're going to do it.
Travel, especially these days, is a lot.
It's something that I may not be able to go this year just because of how expensive it is to travel.
Seriously, if anybody wants to room up, like as long as I like you and I trust you, let's go CitizenCon. Like Humech,
I'm hella down.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right. Razorburn asks, think there will ever be an org store that somewhere sells custom org armor uniforms that could be sold at? Possibly. I've always pitched the idea of like having orgs be able to customize their own uniforms and with their own logos, and then get them approved by CIG, and then have the org be able to produce them or purchase them themselves. But
or like the decal thing, right? Like you pick an armor set in a specific color, and you throw this decal on it, and that's like your org's armor set. And if you're a member of that org, you can go buy it at I think that would be cool. But I don't know if it's ever gonna happen. So I mean, whatever.
That's more of a long-term thing. I think it's possible, but I think it depends on how CIG.
That would be something that I think would happen after release. Honestly, it's like once they've kind of built it out and it's all done and set for it, it's like, okay, let's have a little fun. Let's find new ways to make money. That kind of thing.
All right. That's the way I see that. Stringly asks, Buster, I know you rang Chris a while back about the Terrapin skins for me. Can you ring him again and see how the progress is going?
Terrapin skins. Terrapin skins.
Hey, what you making tonight? Oh, very, very good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of fried chicken, Chris Roberts. Yep. But you're from the UK, so it's probably gonna be pretty. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not.
You lived in Austin.
Wait, you're in Austin? Okay, you're okay. Why are you frying chicken at your house right now? In Austin. Okay, whatever. Anyway, what was the question? Hey, Paul, what was the question?
Terrapin skins. Terrapin skins.
Oh, yeah. You remember that terrapin skin thing we talked about? Yeah. Okay. I'll let them know. I'll let them know. All right. Okay. I gotta go, Chris Roberts. I'm in the middle of the show. Bye. Okay. He said soon, TM.
Soon, TM. Okay. Excellent.
Of course you would say that.
Sorry. I had to do the thing. I had to commit to the bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Fastcart asks, the $5 million funding goal included a, quote, tablet companion application to check on your inventory, commission or find missions, and get galactic news feed. When do you think we'll see that?
Well, what?
So there was supposed to be a companion app that you would be able to check your inventory, get missions, and
like on your phone?
News. Yeah, it would be something on like a tablet or on your phone, like an app that you'd be able to download.
Like
that would
a
be
unique
turbulent thing.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be like a game that you play on a phone, or
No,
would that actually like?
So think of it as like a MobiGlass app where like you'd have.
You mean like Game Glass? You mean Game Glass?
No.
I mean Game Glass exists.
So you know how like there's some apps out there that just follow the news and or like you can download like an app for like a TV show that's out, and it'll have like interviews with the character or the people, and it may have some small games inside of it.
Okay,
so
something with extra content, basically, just a little zhuzh content.
It would be like the idea would be that it would be an app that you could download, and you could be like, oh, where is my freelancer located? Oh, it's at Hurston. Okay, I can.
Basically a game to track like your in-game business.
Yeah,
I think Fallout 4 has one that's like it's like a Pit-Boy app.
Yeah,
you can like mess around with your inventory.
I mean, that would be cool. Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like that's more of a post-release thing, sort of an extra.
Yeah. I would rather see that after release. Yeah.
That's. I was just
still waiting
say
for the in-game dating app.
I said this when they made this joke on April Fools. Okay, I already have enough Star Citizen men that get in like my Tinder and and I'm on like 3 dating apps because it's how dating is these days. And oh my God. Like, you know how many of them, like, you match with a guy, you're like, oh, he's cool. And then he starts asking me, what's your hanger look like? I'm like, motherfucker, I don't need this. I don't need this man. I don't need him. I already got enough of those men in my life. I love all y'all. Y'all are enough for me. So, I don't need someone I love to love Star Citizen.
My wife is indifferent about Star Citizen. In fact, if anything, she shits on me about Star Citizen all the time, because the only reason why she follows Star Citizen.
Cam smacks Paul down.
Yeah, whenever I talk to her about stuff, she's like, "Okay, what did your idiots who follow you on the internet say? What drama did your 5-year-old man babies who follow a space JPEG game get in an arguments about?"
She's brutal.
She is brutal.
Keeping it cool.
Yeah,
she's keeping your in check. I love it.
Yeah, she keeps me in check all the time with that. So it's like
and let's be honest, we just talked about earlier how like literally like I think last time I checked, and I'm not trying to quote like an incorrect thing. I remember years and years ago it was like said that less than 10% of the players were women, or at least women identifying people. And my God, that would be a terrible dating app, gentlemen.
For some people. For some people.
Right? Like, I don't care who you love or what you do, baby, okay? But the thing is we know that this community's full of a lot of straight guys. Let's just be honest. Let's like, I mean, guys, it would just be like any other dating app experience, right? Like, most of the women that exist on it would be just...
Other dating apps don't give you the opportunity to match with Xenothreat Commander, though.
I feel like he'd be a selfish lover. I don't think I could handle it. He wouldn't be a good cuddler. He'd keep talking. He wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like, he's that kind of guy. Same with Dooley.
Okay, I have a question.
No time to cuddle.
I have a,
Destroy aliens.
I have a question off to the side, just as a fun one. Well, who is the most dateable character that we know of in Star Citizen? You know, like for each of you, who is the most like?
Man.
Not that I'm saying like, oh yeah, you're like into them, like weirdly because they're.
What's his name? What's his name?
But who's the most dateable character in Star Citizen or Squadron 42 for you? They're both the same world.
Okay, fine. Cal Mason. Cal Mason's the most dateable person who's from Squadron 42. He is a bad boy, and you will love him. And he's played by Jack Houston, who's a fantastic man. So there we go, hands down. I would have Cal Mason's babies. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go.
I don't know.
Ask him questions.
I have a crush on Gillian Anderson, so I'll just say her character.
There we go.
Stole the answer right out of my mouth.
Haha.
What about you, Astral? Well, come on.
I don't know.
You're a little, you've only been playing for like a year.
Yeah,
so
I'm not that deep into like all the lore stuff and all the characters yet.
That's okay.
I'm keeping myself on
you're working on
myself
you.
on
You're
the
working on you.
unknowledgeable side for Squadron 42 stuff so that I'm not like super spoiled on it when I
that is totally valid. That is so valid.
I'm sorry I spoiled Cal Mason, but Cal Mason's gonna be your favorite character.
Fine.
He's gonna be your favorite character. Everyone in this panel will love Cal Mason. Why? Because Cal Mason is lovable by everyone. You just can't not like Cal Mason. I'll just say that.
But y'all ready for my answer?
Go ahead.
Where is Tessa Bannister?
Oh, there we go.
Where is she?
I miss her.
Where is she?
Tessa
Bannister. She was so nice.
Pander.
Chad.
She was.
You pander.
No, I said that before. I was thinking that before Chat said it. And to be honest, she is super nice.
Yes.
Okay. She always said nice things to me when I pulled up near her little station. Okay. So don't tell me I'm a panderer because I had a real life feeling and I thought, oh, Tessa seems really sweet. Though other than that, Henry Cavill, hell yeah! I don't care what his character's name is. It's Henry Cavill.
Remember 10 minutes ago when we said lightning round? And we got into
lightning round. That was a lightning round question. Come on, let's go.
We didn't finish that question.
This is us going fast, Paul.
This is us going fast.
The other question that Fastcard asked attached to that is, why do you think it's not in the cards anymore? And I think it's still in the cards, but I think, as everyone said, it's just a post-release thing to have an app that you can check on things.
Yeah,
this is a thing that will happen when the game is fully out.
And they can implement systems like that easily,
2068
right?
when
the game fully releases.
100%.
Fastcart asks, my last question was missing an or. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he could that. Steve B. Dancer asks, I'm surprised not to see any language but English in Star Citizen wall, sign, building art. Would you like to see alien language elsewhere? There is. There is Banu and Xi'an all over Area 18. You just have to look for it.
Yeah. And at a lot of space stations and rest stops and stuff, you'll see advertisements.
The signs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more graffiti in alien languages too. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool. I'm sure we will at Pyro. We might run into some. Though Xeno threat. Blech.
Okay, so there's Stringy asked the same question right there. Why do you think CIG's only let us name select few ships? Because it was a prototype and it didn't work out.
They had to test. They needed to test it on a few ships before they implement it out to a bunch. Yeah, simple.
Yeah. And that test resulted in let's not proceed with this system. So
it just doesn't work.
That's where we're at.
Wahoo127 asks, in the form of a question, how much impact could fishing ship naming have? Is it worth the work level? Oh,
wait,
finishing.
Fishing ship?
Okay, I read it wrong.
Finishing. I was like, fishing? There's fishing ships?
Yeah.
I want that ship.
Like, what?
Fishing chips?
Where is that?
Fish and chips? Yeah. The answer is I don't think there's a lot of value in finishing that stuff yet. I think they're time. It was nice that they had it.
Get core stuff in first.
Yeah,
and then
it's important to remember that a lot of the things that we say, you sit there and go, why the fuck has this been added to the game? A lot of those answers is because the team that was working on it had time to work on it. And so they're waiting for another team to finish something else before they could get started on the next vital option. So they're like, hey, let's just do the side project, get that done. Rivers are a good example. It was made by one guy who was doing the prototyping because they needed to get it done for something else, and he got it done. Prisons is another thing. And, they used space stations and the space station system to make caves. When they made caves, they realized they could use that to make prisons, and so they made prisons. So a lot of this stuff is just they have time. But now, look at Star Citizen right now. There ain't no fucking time to do anything. CIG is just like, either if you're not working on something that's vital for Star Citizen, then go to the Squadron 42 team and start working on that shit right now. That's what they're at. So
that's why they're all moving to freaking, what's it called? Manchester. I was about to call it Manfield.
I'm
which
sure
sounds
that's
like a really cool field that I want to go to one day.
I'm sure that's the name of a town in Britain somewhere.
Mansfield. Mansfield is the name of a town in Texas. No, 100%. Like they're all like that's what the whole, like, from what I understand, and I could be wrong. Don't get me, but the whole thing with them being in Manchester is that basically they're trying to get Squadron 42 finished out because there's so much of Squadron 42 that gets implemented into Star Citizen. So the further along Squadron 42 gets, the better it is for the verse.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
It just goes there first. Yeah.
It just goes there first.
All right. Next question. I'm going to start with Humech, and then I'm going to go to Astral, and then I'm going to go to Buster, which is favorite sci-fi planet.
Oh.
Ever.
Like ever.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, I know.
Gotta
Boy,
think for a second. I watch a lot of sci-fi, so it's just like I don't want to default to something lame, but at the same time, I might.
Here, I'll answer first, just real quick. Kronos.
Okay, there we go.
Kronos.
Kessel. I like Kessel.
There you go.
Kessel. Okay.
From
Kessel?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward place to get to, and it was originally incredibly beautiful, and it's been mined to death, and it's got a lot of interesting history around it. And I grew up reading a ton of Star Wars novels, so I would say Kessel.
Okay. Astral.
I'm struggling with this one. There's a lot. I don't know if I have a favorite. I probably do, and just can't think of it off the top of my head.
It's gonna come to you after this stream. You're like, oh, I should have said that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
There's something there.
Stream's gonna end, and then I'm gonna think of something and be like, oh, why didn't I say that?
Minatonic said Ryza, and I knew somebody in chat was going to absolutely say Ryza. But yeah, Kronos.
I guess pretty good one is Pandora from Borderlands.
There you go.
I think it's neat. A lot of cool lore behind it and stuff like that. I like Borderlands. It's a fun series. So yeah, we'll go with that for now, because that's the only one that I can think of at the moment.
I'm gonna say something because this is a planet that has never left my brain since I first saw it. So that's why it's my favorite. Not because I actually like it, but just because I can't stop. Whenever I think about weird planets or interesting sci-fi planets, my brain always defaults to this, which is Crematoria from the Riddick series. It's the planet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good answer.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
Like when they
sorry, I got excited.
So when for those of you who haven't watched the Chronicles of Riddick, it's where Riddick and his team, or the other folks, got sent to prison on this planet, and it's called Crematoria, and it's like underground. And the reason why it's underground is because the surface every certain number of hours gets blasted straight by the sun, so you can't survive on the surface. So you just burn alive. So it's there's scenes in there where they're trying to escape Crematoria, and they're like jumping from like these huge craggy cliffs from point to point as the sun is catching up to them and burning everything behind. It's glorious. It's inhospitable and crazy, and I love it. So
if you haven't seen it, please watch it.
Watch it.
Incredible.
It's an underrated movie. It's a terrible movie, but it's one of those terrible sci-fis that you just have to watch, especially if you want to see a young Carl Urban. All right, like young Carl
sure.
Urban, you know, Bones
What's the
from
one-
Star Trek. So
What's the one in Hitchhiker's Guide, Magrathea,
yeah,
where they build like
Oh,
luxury planets,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's CIG. Like that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the guys in that's the people in Canada. That's what they should. It's
Yeah.
like that should be the name of an office at the one in Canada is Magrathea.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that actually would be a really funny reference to name like where like a whole
CIG
planet
Montreal.
building team is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like CIG Montreal, like they have like a section of offices called Magrathea. That would be cool.
With that was the last question. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for asking those questions. If you yourself want to ask questions on any live show, join us live at twitch.tv/theastropub on Saturdays, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. Let me know your own questions and comments down below in the chat, or in the comments section. And of course, make sure you are subscribed and follow to all of these wonderful folks here. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. Later, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Or in whatever color you prefer, it's fine.
I don't know if space is anything else other than black.
You know,
Pyro's
maybe space is like there's parts of space that are the presence of all colors. Okay,
White.
who knows? It's a big world out there. Okay, Paul,
I mean,
you don't know everything.